WWE bombshell Liv Morgan reveals 4 scars and injuries after brutal Elimination Chamber event. WWE wrestler Liv Morgan has revealed a brutal scar and bruises all over her arms that she received from competing at Saturday's Elimination Chamber event on social media. Morgan competed in the event's namesake match as one of 6 female competitors vying for a championship match at WrestleMania 41. The Elimination Chamber match takes place inside the ring with a structure made of steel on all sides surrounding it. There are also 4 pods holding the competitors who do not start the match. Morgan captioned her photo, "Wrestling with a black heart." Morgan's scar on her stomach was from fellow competitor Bianca Belair whipping her long braid directly into her midriff. The snap of Belair's braid onto Morgan's stomach made the Toronto crowd gasp as Morgan cowered in pain. All of Morgan's forearms are also heavily bruised. She showed off the damage in what appears to be a hotel room as she is traveling for her next event on Monday in Buffalo, New York. Morgan's battle scars did not lead to victory as Belair won the match after pinning the former WWE Women's Champion. Wear and tear is nothing new for WWE's professional wrestlers, who are on the road most of the year performing and wrestle multiple times per week. Unfortunate news for Liv Morgan post-WWE Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan has done some of the best work of her WWE career in the last couple of years. However, the former Women's World Champion has become the recipient of an unwanted record following her loss at the Elimination Chamber PLE. Liv was one of the participants in the Women's Elimination Chamber match at the company's recently concluded namesake Premium Live event. The Garita put on an emphatic performance inside the steel structure and was the last person to get eliminated despite being one of the starters. However, despite her heroic performance, Liv Morgan broke an unwanted record in Toronto. According to Wrestling Stats and Info's X account, she has now competed 6 times in the gimmick match and has yet to emerge victorious. The infamous record previously belonged to Sheamus and Kane, who entered the Elimination Chamber 5 times each and failed to win even once. Triple H praised Liv Morgan after her performance at WWE Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan has had a stellar last few years after a slow start to her career on the main roster. The Judgment Day member has firmly established herself as a prominent member of the WWE Women's roster. After delivering another impressive performance at Elimination Chamber, the Garita received high praise from the company's CCO, Triple H, at the post-PLE press conference. Morgan is also enjoying a career renaissance as part of the Judgment Day stable, as few skyrocketed their careers like she has over the last 12 months. Morgan is not expected to miss any time from her injuries, regardless of WWE being in the most important time of its year with WrestleMania a little more than a month away. Liv Morgan just continues to impress me. A woman that, a year ago, many people would have said is great to have on the roster. She's a good hand and all those things. In this last, I guess what, since May has just become a megastar and continues to surpass that. To me, she stood out tonight as a star in the spotlight, thriving. Triple H said Morgan dropped the Women's World Championship to Rhea Ripley on Raw's Netflix premiere after a lengthy feud with the Eradicator. However, the 30-year-old did not take much time in winning another gold, as she and Raquel Rodriguez defeated Bianca Belair and Naomi on last week's Raw to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan breaks silence with brutal injury update following Elimination Chamber. Liv Morgan came up just short in the Women's Elimination Chamber match last night. However, it seems that she will be remembering many of those bumps in the weeks to come. The former Women's World Champion took a lot of bumps against the steel structure throughout the chamber match and was left bleeding and covered in welts after Bianca Belair whipped her with her braid. Morgan broke her online silence and shared an image on her ex-FGay Twitter account today that showed the majority of her bruises from last night. Her arms looked like they had taken the brunt of the damage. Morgan doesn't appear to have suffered any serious injuries during the match, but the bruises and marks can be clearly seen, despite her captioning her update as "Wrestling with a Heart." Morgan appears to be content with her performance despite the loss and remains one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions along with Raquel Rodriguez. What's next for Liv Morgan on WWE Raw? Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the Women's Tag Team Champions and are expected to be pushed ahead of WrestleMania 41. The two women no longer have distractions from outside of their titles, and with everything going on in the Judgment.
Liv Morgan WWE injury update following RW between the two, Tiffany and Rhea. I think I'd rather see Rhea, because she and Rhea had such an incredible match 2 years ago. They haven't had a match like that in women's division that I've seen on TV anywhere. Rhea won the match, but it was the best match on the show. It was incredible. Following a bloody match on WWE Monday Night Raw, a new report has revealed an injury update on Liv Morgan. On the February 10th edition of WWE Raw, damaged CTRL's Io Sky and Dakota Kai defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day. During the course of the bout, Morgan suffered an apparent injury where she came up bleeding after a knee from Sky. Later in the program, Morgan was sporting a big bruise on her face during a backstage segment after the tag team bout. Fightful Select, subscription required, provided an update, noting that word backstage was Liv Morgan appeared to be okay, but may need stitches. The report reads, Liv Morgan got busted open by a knee, but word backstage was that she appeared to be okay, but may need stitches. Morgan will face Bianca Belair, Bayley, and 3 other participants in the Women's Elimination Chamber match at the titular event on March 1st. Kairi Sane sends a message to Liv Morgan. WWE star shares brutal fallout of serious injury. WWE superstar Kairi Sane recently took to social media to send a message to former women's world champion Liv Morgan. The Judgment Day star suffered a brutal injury on this week's Monday Night Raw during the latest episode of the Red Brand. Liv Morgan teamed up with Raquel Rodriguez to face damage CTRL's Io Sky and Dakota Kai. All of the women involved in the bout put on an amazing display, but the match ultimately ended in Sky and Kai's favor. However, during the bout, Morgan suffered a brutal injury near her eye and started bleeding heavily. Following the show, the Judgment Day star had to get several stitches to close up her wound. She recently took to X/Twitter to show off her injury. This post caught Kairi Sane's attention, and she uploaded a photo of a similar eye injury that she had suffered in September last year while competing against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. The Damage Control member also sent a message to Morgan with several emojis. Former WWE writer reacted to Liv Morgan's brutal injury on Raw. During a recent edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, former WWE writer Vince Russo reacted to Liv Morgan's brutal eye injury, saying that he believed she was extremely tough for a person of her stature. Did you see that nasty gash on Liv Morgan's eye, man? Wow, she is tough. I gotta give you that, man. That was a nasty gash on her eye. Did you see how that happened, Chris? I wasn't watching closely enough. I mean, she had like a boxer's cut. I mean, wow. She is tough, man. Liv Morgan is tough for a girl her size, and that was nasty. Liv Morgan has qualified for this year's Women's Elimination Chamber match. It will be interesting to see what WWE has planned for the Judgment Day star's future. Liv Morgan smiles through the pain after suffering a nasty cut on WWE Raw. It was a rough night for Liv Morgan Monday on Raw, who suffered both insult and injury. In a tag team match pitting her and Raquel Rodriguez against Io Sky and Dakota Kai of Damage Control, Morgan was pinned by Sky. But before that, she suffered a gnarly cut just over her right eye during the final minutes of the match. Rodriguez and Morgan paired up for some unique tandem offense. Rodriguez scooped Morgan up as if she was going to powerbomb her. Instead, she used Morgan as a weapon, swinging her body into the ribs of Sky, then Kai. Morgan's injury appeared to occur right after she collided with Sky. However, she started holding her face after hitting Dakota later. After Morgan blasted Kai with Oblivion, Sky plowed through her with a running knee lift. That incapacitated Morgan for several moments, who was briefly checked on by the referee. Ultimately, Sky put Morgan down for the 3 count with her signature moonsault. Despite the grisly nature of her injury, Morgan was all smiles afterward. "Io, you could never make me ugly," said the former women's world champ in a video she shared to X along with pictures of her cut. Although she and Rodriguez lost, they still have a title match coming with reigning women's tag team champions Bianca Belair and Naomi. Most of all, Morgan